Hey all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank. Today I'm going to be joined by Squeaks and Jonathan. This is a recording in person right after our latest D&D session, so it might sound a little different than normal. In this episode, we're also going to be talking with Alan Dunford about Horus and Hell 3, the latest in the Top Hat Studios comic book line. I love talking to Alan. I absolutely love his comic books. I am an avid fan of everything the Top Hat comes out with. You guys can look in the descriptions now to follow up the links and start reading up on that as you listen to this episode. It's totally worth your time, guys. And in this episode of Geek Freaks, we're going to be chatting about the latest in geek news, and we're going to be reviewing the latest Dynasty Warriors, which to me is such an old school classic franchise, right? It's one of the best of video games. And then we're going to be talking about how Xbox is committed to bringing games to the Nintendo Switch 2, and so much more going on in the geekdom. We want to hear back from you guys. We would love to get some reviews on Apple Podcast and Spotify. It's not something we normally push too hard, but it does help us improve. We always love the compliments. I'm not going to hate those. So hit those up if you guys can. We really appreciate that. And over at Fandom Portals, part of the network, Aaron is running a giveaway where if you repost anything of his and you tag him over on Instagram, you have a chance to win a t-shirt from the shop. So check that out, guys, over at Fandom Portals. Aaron does such good work over there. It's excellent. And actually, I'm guest starring on one of his upcoming episodes talking about Star Trek. So that's always a blast. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy this episode, and thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and I'm joined by Jonathan.
Well, hello.
And we have Squeaks.
Squeaks!
Oh. All right, so hopefully that didn't blow you guys out. We are recording in person, so that was extremely loud for all of us.
So this is new to me. It's been a while.
If the mics sound differently, it's because, we are recording in person amongst D&D minis. We just finished our latest D&D session. How did the session go, guys?
That was great. Successful.
Yeah.
Successful.
Yeah. You guys are now level 7.
We had terrible rolls, though, for most of it.
Yeah, actually, you guys kind of got lucky with the battlefield rolls. Everything else that you guys didn't roll worked out well for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were some of the things you've learned from this session that you were looking forward to using more? I like, Jonathan, you got that ice knife. That was a pretty good move that we got to use more often.
Yeah. It's a good attack. It you throw this dagger pretty much and then it explodes. So it does area damage.
Yeah.
And then I used mold earth to pull down the roof, a stone roof, and kind of crush a.
So OP.
Yeah. I was gonna say mine
it?
was more risk taking. I'm tired of being too cautious, so that's why I was blowing up these traps.
Yeah.
Said the least risk taking member of the party.
Well, now he made a second deal with the devil, and he's supposed to be a paladin.
Yeah.
This is
I'm a paladin with 2
thoroughly corrupted.
As the DM, I had to give him some tiefling horns because I was like, okay, at this point. And I like how Daniel is so overly cautious with making a deal. You're gonna lose your soul. It's not your real soul, Daniel.
It's almost make a move, man. Damn.
Man. And he's so worried about this one artifact that he had in his personal campaign. Oh, when you guys are away, it's back in his that would empower him, but he'd eventually lose his mind. But he's so worried about that all he's let me get back to there and get those things. And so I was waiting for him to mention it when I was opening the portal back to his place. That he was let me do it through it.
It'll make him lose his mind. So maybe it's like Golem pursuing the ring, where it's kind of always on his mind and eating at him, even if he's not wearing it.
That's a good point.
That's cool. I like that.
All right, let's get into this episode. We're going to be starting off with our question of the week. Question is, which franchise do you think is the most overrated? We asked this over on Threads, and while you guys are thinking about this, I'll go over some of the other answers we've got. The Infinity Bros said Fast and the Furious. I couldn't care less about any of the new films. Yeah, for me, it was 5. I think was the last time I gave a crap about that show. Or that series.
2 was my favorite, and that was it.
There we go. Well, that was pretty long. Next one is maybe a controversial take, and definitely one that makes me question my own nerd cred. But I do not care for Dune. This is from Quito Draw Stuff, I guess. But yeah, so not caring about Dune. I get it. It is definitely a major vibe that you have to just kind of get along with. And I know that Thomas doesn't care for questioning the morality stuff like that. He doesn't. He's just it's just so cool shit.
Yeah.
So I get that. Geeking Out with Ethan said Sonic the Hedgehog is overrated.
Whoa.
I don't know.
The video games with movies?
The franchise.
Oh, man. No, dude. What the hell? That's crazy. No.
I think it's great. And I think luckily the movies have kind of revitalized the franchise. So I would disagree with that one, but what do you guys think? Let's start with you, John, while you're over there cooking.
It's going to be highly controversial.
Oh boy.
Especially with Squeak sitting next to me. But to say it's overrated, I think is fair, is Harry Potter.
Oh,
so especially as a person who hasn't read the books. I just watched the movies. I don't think I saw the newest of them all. I don't think I saw the last one.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's just like, oh, the first 2 or 3 were good, but
yeah,
I don't know. The fact that people rave about them and it's such a big deal, you know, in the culture and stuff. It's like, it's cool, it's fun, but
they are fun. Crazy. Yeah, I could see like
Game of Thrones is a lot better of a story to me in the similar kind of realm. So
wow, if we're on contracts, don't renew this.
Right.
Dang, if I had to pick one, I would say, oh man, really just on top of my head is the Jurassic World series. I don't know if like people rave about that or not. It's got some good elements, but it's not very strong. It always does
very good at the box office.
Yeah, right. Yes, but I just don't see after the first one. You basically copied Cat, really, right? Jurassic World, the first one was essentially Jurassic Park and another park, but we get to see the park. We get to see the park come alive, right over.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of like the new Star Wars series with Rey, where it just kind of stole from the original source and then kind of tried to expand it. Yeah, but maybe Jurassic World, I don't know how crazy popular that is to care so much if people hate it.
Here's a hot take for you. Here we go. Yellowstone. All the Yellowstone's overrated.
Yeah,
I've never watched Yellowstone.
Exactly. Yeah. And people rave about it so passionately. I think it's like a modern day soap opera, honestly. And which that's fine. A lot of people love soap operas, but I don't think it's worth the attention that people give it.
Yeah.
And I think with our country being divided and the perspectives and stuff that it might support, maybe that's part of it or something like that. Or, you know, there's a lot of that.
I think the people who watch it just maybe don't watch other good shows.
That's probably it. Yeah. It probably pulls in a type of people that aren't normally TV show fans.
I think it pulls in the people who think like, I'm not talking shit about anybody. Let me clarify that. Yeah. But like people who think Walking Dead's the peak of television would then see Yellowstone as even better.
Oh, what? Right. It is?
You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many other really good shows that are just not really.
And they haven't given them a chance because it doesn't reach that, you know, it doesn't tickle that certain, you know, itch or whatever.
Famous enough for them to go check it out.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you don't need something that's famous, you know, to be a hell of a good show.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's like because it's different, right? What else is out there that's kind of like this? I don't want to compare it to Red Dead, but you know, like a Western, right? There's really nothing out there, so that could be like capitalizing on that genre.
Yeah.
On top of, I mean, how many cop shows there are? You know, like they're all saturated. It's all saturated. So tired of those. Yeah. I think it just maybe gave people something different to watch, and I don't know, it just took off from there. I know they got the Harrison Ford spinoff coming through.
That's coming out. Yeah, 1923 season 2 starting up pretty soon. Yeah. Speaking of cop shows, did you guys hear that the FBI franchise, Overrated as well? It's one of CBS's best shows or highest rated one. They have a new one coming out called FBI CIA. Those are totally different things,
right?
Like they have totally different focuses. They don't make sense that you would make a CIA department. It's like, you know, NFL, the basketball division.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, it's like folding one branch under another.
I had to double check the article wasn't from The Onion or something like that, like a fake thing, but no, it's actually happening.
One show I did start watching that is corny but really good so far is High Potential. It has the girl that plays Dee from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And she's like a Sherlock Holmes is honestly what it is.
Wild.
It's like she has this, you know, disorder or whatever where she hyperfixates on things and she sees all the little details. So she walks in a room and she tells them like, oh yeah, no, it wasn't the husband. It was the nanny that did it. And they're like, what are you talking about? You know, the body's right here and all that stuff. She's like, well, no, she breaks down all the little things that she sees that they aren't picking up on.
That's always fun.
I was like, man, that's pretty good. Though she does it in heels and a skirt all the time. So obviously, you know, full makeup and stuff. But she's supposed to be a mom of 3. A lot of things don't add up, but whatever. It's a fun show.
I'll have to check that out. It's hard because when you know a character so well for one role, her as Dee, I can't imagine like seeing that with somebody else.
Yeah. I would say this does a good job of breaking her out of that character. And I like it to see how her career can progress after this now.
Yeah. Did you watch the AP Bio, or not AP Bio, I'm sorry, the Abbott Elementary crossover?
No, not yet. I have started watching that show again, though, because it's such a good show.
It is. But in that one, they're just different enough because, of course, they can't like be as vulgar as they normally would be.
Yeah.
But the characters are just different enough where you're like, oh, yeah, that's like soft D.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like them trying to behave themselves on a day.
Soft D.
Jeez. You get that to a hard D.
Let's get into the news. We're going off of our website, guys. Check out our website if you guys want all the information. Zack Cregger, he's a director, going to be helming a reboot for the Resident Evil franchise. Now, Mom loves Resident Evil. My mom loves it.
Really?
She likes horror movies in general. Yeah.
She does.
Wow. Oh.
And
okay.
I think that first one's fantastic. I even like the second one, but
Yeah.
boy, they fell off hard after that. And then they tried to reboot them recently. Me and Daniel almost walked out of the theater. The only reason we didn't is because neither of us told the other one to walk out of the theater. We were hoping, like, come on, Daniel, say you're done watching this. And he was hoping for the same thing out of me. And then we found out afterwards.
Yeah.
So I love the franchise. I hope it becomes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one I saw was where she like lands a plane on a rooftop or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
That was rough. Like I could barely watch that. But yeah, like you're saying, the first two were really good.
Right.
So maybe it is time for
Yeah.
a reboot and kind of start fresh.
Yeah, I think they should probably. What do you think? Stick strong with like what's already been created on the video game wise? Because I know one of the movies they tried having these characters and look nothing like it. Do you remember the Leon that they put on screen?
Yeah, they try to make like a more video game accurate version, but it just bombed the worst. It was terrible.
Yeah, just none of the characters look like their video game like copy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So maybe they stick with something like that, right? Maybe because I mean it's like comic books, like superhero movies. Why don't you just do that? You know.
But that didn't work well. They tried that and it didn't work out.
But the thing was that they had Leon black hair, like nothing like him, like
True.
whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think if you're trying to make like, okay, if I see, you know, let's just say Iron Man movie that first came out, right? You're like, oh my God, that's the Iron Man I grew up with and loved. Maybe you pull some of those characters and have them look exactly the same, like Ada Wong, Claire and Leon.
Yeah.
And if you can mimic like that opening scene on Resident Evil 2 where they're in the car and the big semi truck crashes and they
classic.
split up, you're like, oh God, you know, I'm
Yeah.
ready, you know?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
done so
So I
good.
don't know if that would be the answer to mimic the games or come up with a new script like they did before, but just better storytelling.
I think what I like about the first two movies too is it didn't get too deep into the fantasy that's in the games. Like they got
the
some
lore itself, yeah.
crazy characters that it ends up developing.
Yeah.
But it stayed on the earlier end of it that is very much more mainstream. You don't have to have that comic book sci-fi
Mhm.
perspective to like it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the producers realized from the sales and in theaters and stuff like that, if fans were going to try to see a zombie movie
Mhm.
and ended up finding it to be a comic book movie and didn't like the comic book element of it.
Yeah, you definitely have to keep the horror element. It's still a horror movie.
That's what's
you know?
nice about Zack Cregger. Sorry, the most recent thing he did is Barbarian, which is a very big popular horror movie of last year.
Mhm.
So I think they're going at it as a horror first. To me, I think less important than sticking to accurate characters is accurate feel.
Mhm.
And whenever I think of Resident Evil, the feel that I remember is, or from friends who've played it a lot, is the lack of ammo. So the
Mhm.
desperation of like,
Yeah.
even one zombie that might be slower than you in a room,
Yeah.
if it takes one bullet, that's one less bullet you have when you absolutely need to defend yourself.
Yeah. You're in a school and there happens to be just a little girl zombie in there somewhere and you have to find a way to get out, or
Right.
you have to find a way to guillotine her inside the school without any weapons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2 raptors at the end of Jurassic Park were more dangerous than all of Jurassic World
Yeah.
with everything
Yeah.
falling apart.
Yeah.
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 You know?
What
like
would
that.
you like to see? Would you like to see the Leon aspect where it's more horror-ish, or maybe like the Chris Redfield where you're like the whole, I don't know if you played Resident Evil 5, but the smarter zombies. Do you want like kind of like the slow
Ooh.
horror
I
type
think you have
ones?
to
Or
earn
do you
those
want,
really. But we're getting a new renaissance of zombies. It's the ebb and flow of zombies. But like we have 28 Years Later coming out with a new trilogy.
Mhm.
Walking Dead's coming out with 500 other spinoffs. So we're getting a lot more zombie stuff. So we'll have some that have fast
Yeah.
ones. We'll have some that have slow ones.
yeah, I'm just curious of what would pull you in though for this Resident Evil.
What would
Like
put me
what
in
would,
is
what would you want to see?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want a Dawn of the Dead. I love Dawn of the Dead.
Mhm.
It's like I think the best
One
version of
the best,
zombies.
Yeah.
But like make them to where maybe they'll sprint every so often, but not the majority of them. You know,
Yeah.
I
Like
think that's best.
like what do you call it? Like a Left 4 Dead where you run into the special zombies. So most of
Exactly.
them are just
God,
kind of
that's a
like,
good
yeah.
game.
And that could be reflective of their physical abilities before they died. So you go by a football field where there was a game going on and they all died. Oh crap, those ones can run because they conditioned their
They're all
muscles are
running backs.
bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you go by, a
Yeah.
senior home and there's zombies, but they're really slow ones because they were already,
Yeah.
fatigued.
They go by the Cowboys, and it's like, yeah, they're fast, but they don't know where the fuck they're going.
Right.
Oh my
They can't
God.
catch nothing.
That one just dropped the ball. I didn't know they were even holding a ball.
You're actually playing football better now than they were when they were alive.
Clearly, I'm a Cowboys fan. We just found out who our new coach is, so I'm a little upset today.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think it's good to bring this back, though. It's a name brand. Raccoon City's always
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
Umbrella. I mean, it's like so iconic.
Yeah.
PlayStation is the one kind of investing behind this as well, and they're bringing in a lot of movies in their
Yeah,
franchise. So
heck
they're
yeah.
going to make sure to go heavy. I think what it is like they're like, okay, Sony just dropped the ball with all of their stuff. They're going to do the Spider-Man stuff. So there's like a lack of franchise makers outside of the MCU and DCU.
Mhm.
Let's start making franchises out of the PlayStation stuff. Such an iconic name. Let's go with this one.
Yeah.
Next in the news, we have our Sinestro. It's going to be played by Ulrich Thompson. He's been known for a lot of things. Is one of those guys like, oh yeah, I remember him. But it's going to be co-written. This series is being co-written by Chris Mundy, Damon Lindelof, and Tom King, the legend Tom King. It's going to be very comic book feeling. And I'm wondering, how are you going to bring in Sinestro into such a small story? Because we know what it is the two lanterns, John and Hal, are investigating a murder in the middle America. When does Sinestro come into that? He's crazy.
Didn't you explain to me? I don't remember that. Like after the whole battle with Sinestro, he was imprisoned, and then later on he was released to try to stop. Oh yeah, never mind. That would still be way too climactic. He was released to try to stop when Hal Jordan had
Parallax.
Went renegade.
Yeah. I didn't tell you about that. Probably a TikTok video because I think we probably follow the same TikTok guys that break those down. Thank God for those dudes. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they start introducing Parallax. It's way too early in the DCU to start doing it though.
Well, because how do you introduce Sinestro? I mean, I guess in the very, very beginning, he's a good guy, right? He's training.
Very beginning, yeah. But I think at this point he would already be Sinestro, like yellow.
Yeah, I would say like the corpse is established, the Sinestro corpse, core. And like we'd be introduced to him by the investigations of the Green Lanterns, right? So maybe questioning the corpse.
So you're thinking like Sinestro killed somebody in the middle of America?
I think they think. I think
they're gonna
him
though.
I know, but I think they're gonna like maybe find these clues that might not frame him in a way, but could lead to them, and then that's the introduction of the core, and play a role like that. So I don't know if he might even be like the big villain, but he might be a character that's just like utilized for future projects.
Frankly, I don't want him to be the big villain because he deserves so much more. He deserves a big old movie,
not just a one-off, right?
Yeah. And kind of the Loki. I always use Loki as this example, but the MCU nailed it with him, where he's just this like constant bad guy. Sometimes he's helping you even. Actually, that makes me think
he could be helping whatever did happen for like a greater purpose that leads into multiple movies or series.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to corrupt the Green Lanterns. So he would stay. He would be sending people to mess with these detectives that are, working. So because he isn't a very earthly grounded character. And so to throw him in the mix as if he's sneaking around a small town trying to cause problems for these two just doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. But if he's sending people and he's kind of pulling the strings in the back like a puppet master or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe the key is that he's obsessed with Hal because that's his mentee.
Yeah.
And so if there's a way for him to be in the middle of all this just because he's trying to break Hal, maybe he learned that this is Hal's, whatever, mom or some stuff like that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, something emotional.
Something to break Hal, try to bring the fear out of Hal.
Yeah.
And break his will.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about the casting, but I'm glad to actually get some more news with Green Lantern.
The casting with DC is perfect. What are you afraid of?
I just don't. What
Ulrich, this guy specifically?
Yeah, him specifically. That's what I'm worried about. Because like, if you look back on his other movies, nothing about it is so memorable.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I remember is like The Thing, but it's the remakes. I'm like, whatever, But his other roles, it's nothing strong. But again, I mean, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I love that they're actually doing something with it.
Yeah.
So.
It's about time because the Ryan Reynolds thing's definitely not what the legacy should be showing off.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it. Robert Eggers, next story. Robert Eggers is going to be helming a new Labyrinth sequel. So Robert Eggers is the one that did Nosferatu.
Oh, it's not a reboot. It's a sequel.
It's a sequel.
I didn't realize that.
Well, that's a good point to bring up, John, because somebody's like, why don't you just do a reboot? And he's like, we can't replace David Bowie.
Yeah.
So this has to be something that builds on David Bowie. We can't mess up his legacy.
Man, we got to rewatch that now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's wild. It is crazy, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A couple more of these beers that we all have in front of us,
Right.
and then you watch it. You're set. What do we think about this?
I think it's awesome. I mean, we've seen, that's a lot. We've seen some success, not all success with these, reboots or continuations of old movies and series that we like. What was that? Dark Crystal didn't seem to land at all.
I was just going to bring that up. I hope this doesn't turn out to like that because it was just weird. I've never felt in my life, except for maybe Team America, that it is with the puppets. It just felt awkward watching these puppets.
Yeah, as if it was a school production or something like that.
It didn't sit right. So I honestly couldn't finish the first episode.
It
was weird to me.
Yeah, a little into it. Like Idris Elba was one of the voice actors and stuff like that. Like they definitely put money behind it, but it just was hard to get through.
Yeah, I would love to get into that kind of like lower universe, but I'd rather just watch CGI or something.
Yeah,
frankly, yeah. And presumably they're going to do the same thing with this. It'll be all puppets again, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think Jim Henson probably owns a part of this. Jim Henson's family probably owns a part of Lambert's name.
Yeah.
Without David Bowie, though, that's hard because he was such an icon in that first movie and was kind of the reason I watched it.
Yeah.
He was badass.
There's somebody you think that could play his type of character?
I mean, with Robert Eggers, yeah, I think it's going to be what's his name, Pennywise, the kid that just did Nosferatu.
Oh my god, dude! What a fucking chameleon.
Yeah.
Skarsgård.
I know. Skarsgård. Here you go. All the iPods.
Yeah. Yeah, he was weird though because in Nosferatu, like, it's too much makeup and stuff. I'll never know if it was him, right? But very good at like you would never know.
He's
like
so talented.
everything else. Yeah. Yeah.
And the way he plays Pennywise, like I never thought anybody would replace Tim Curry, but like, no, he does a great job.
Yeah.
And he's going to be back for the Derry series too. That's coming out this year.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Can't wait.
Damn, this year.
That'll be fun.
So we have a new Labyrinth on the way. As soon as we find something more about it, we will make sure you all know. All right, we have also returning Captain Planet is making a comeback in comic book form.
Finally.
My God, was my TikTok on fire, people complaining and happy. Both sides.
Yeah. And we predicted, we talked before about Captain Planet coming back and making a new live action or animated series.
Yeah, sort.
That would be dope.
But why would people be upset about it? I honestly have no opinion, like, are you saying that's what it is?
People like to complain about,
I'm just,
because they're going to ruin what we like, or that global warming is fake and all this is hippie stuff.
I was thinking, people think too much sometimes, and it's like, it's a cartoon series.
Yeah, there's also not turtles coming out of the subway, but we still are the sewers.
Yeah. Like, come on,
whether
guys.
you believe in it or not, it's a fun story.
Yeah, everything. Things can be looked at surface level, guys. Like this is an old cartoon that we kind of watched and growing up.
And it's just gonna be him fighting
pollution. I wanted this to be gory though. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
You litter some fucking trash on my lawn, just fucking like, head bashing.
Yeah. I will fertilize this land with your blood.
But then nothing. If it's not like that, nothing about this turns me on. So,
well, I'm really liking how it's done by Dynamite. Which boy, that company is really thriving nowadays. They've been taking a lot of that old millennial stuff and making good comic books out of it.
I think they're doing like Funko Pops where you buy up the licenses and then just throw money at it, make it happen quick and cool, and people are buying up tons of it to where
they do Gargoyles.
That starts
great.
the engine.
Frank Weissman's writing those, and now they have Gargoyles Quest, which is like the medieval version of Gargoyles. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm really just thinking like, oh, you put non-recyclable in a recycle and just fucking whack. I don't know.
15 dead today because some kid put it in the wrong bin.
Jeez.
But I don't think it was Dynamite. I could be wrong. Correct me. The Power Rangers comic books.
No, they were IDW.
Yeah, it's Boom.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say that was I think very good storytelling of a remake of something that we grew up with.
Similar art style to this though.
Yeah,
you notice that? Yeah.
Boom looks good now too.
We'll see. I don't like the beard and I hate the shoulders. Do you see his shoulder pads that he has now? He has these like rock shoulder pads that are just mountains? Like, oh god, that looks stupid.
Yeah,
those are his shoulders.
Like mid-transformation, maybe? Maybe not.
Maybe he has elements of, because he is Captain Planet.
Yeah, he has like elemental control, sure, but I mean that just to me bugs the hell out of me. But yeah, everything else is cool.
Anyway,
I could even get past the beard.
People are asking about this.
People were wanting it. I'm telling you, my comments have been on fire. Really? Mostly people excited about it. There were some people that weren't, but most people are happy about it. Yeah.
I hope the comic does good and they make a live action series.
I don't know if I hope that happens.
I had the song stuck in my head all week because I put the trailer in the video.
Yeah.
So I've had that damn song stuck in my head all week.
Nice.
Next up, we have Star Wars news. Sean Levy's got a standalone movie coming up. So right away, I'm on board with that.
Nice.
It is rumored that in talks is Ryan Gosling. What could Ryan Gosling do in Star Wars?
Yeah, right away I was thinking like if he's in Star Wars, I think it'd be better as like a pirate or some kind of like assassin or something like that. But
I don't even like the Han Solo way.
Yeah, kind of a Han Solo.
I guess that he was really good. Like Gray Man. Have you guys watched Gray Man? That was a Netflix movie.
Part of it. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
He was good in that as kind of like that shady character.
Yeah.
But I think in recent roles like Barbie and whatnot, he's got a really good humorous side.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to lean in on that.
But what kind of Star Wars character would you play that's funny? Like most of them it's a war. They're serious and the droids are usually the comic relief.
Yeah. But they're not going to put him behind the droid stuff. They're going to make sure to whatever he's going to do, he's going to be some sort of shirtless Jedi.
Yeah.
I would like to finally see Hondo, Hondo, in a live action, and maybe him and Ryan Gosling working on it.
Really surprised he didn't pop up in Skeleton Crew.
You think so? Oh yeah, because all the pirate universe stuff.
Yeah, I thought for sure Hondo was going to pop up in that. Yeah. God, that was such a good show.
And he has a recognizable face, so they're definitely going to not put him under too much makeup or prosthetics.
No.
Can he be serious enough to be a Jedi?
I think we have enough Jedi stuff.
Not his acting, but his persona, what he's recognized for, I think would distract from most characters he could play.
Well, we'll work better, right? Acolyte, Jedi World, or a Skeleton Crew. So maybe I think people just want a break of that.
Well, I mean, I think have a double side. We have Mandalorian that doesn't have much Jedi stuff, but then we have Ahsoka who's a lot of it. So I think having both is fine.
Yeah, I just think like right now, what would you prefer?
Yeah, I mean,
do you want a break or what? I don't know.
Not a lot of Jedis. I don't want Acolyte where it's just all lightsabers and no giving a shit.
Yeah.
But some would be cool.
Yeah.
If they were to do live action Rebels, how cool would he be as like Keenan or whatever his name is, the guy that like was leading that got blind? Remember Rebels when he got blind? God, his death was made me cry.
Wonder if we actually have him like kind of like work on both sides. It'd be nice to kind of see a little bit more of the dark side stuff, the Empire stuff, because he's a mercenary. Dark side,
he can
do a mercenary.
Yeah,
I can see him.
We've been getting that was a guy. He was a slicer. They called him a slicer, which is basically like Star Wars for hacker. Sometimes they just make shit up. It's like so stupid. They keep trying to push. Oh, that's so wizard. And every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, guys, it's so not gonna work. You can stop it.
That's so fetch.
I imagine they have like a ton of boxes of shirts in the warehouse. Like, guys, we gotta sell these shirts. Please say a wizard. Nobody cares, guys. So Ryan Gosling is coming to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, it is time for a follow-up on my Magic Mind Sleep Elixir trial. So I've been using the Sleep Elixir now for 2 weeks. This is the new product from Magic Mind, and it helps you go to sleep faster, have a better, more deep sleep, and wake up more refreshed. And I am really enjoying it. The waking up more refreshed part is so key to me. That's the part that I really feel the biggest impact on. I'm waking up ready to start my day in a way that I don't normally I can lean on the coffee pretty hard, as you guys well are aware of, but this feels great. And you guys could try it out too. We have the 45% off bundle. All you got to do to take advantage of that is go to magicmind.com/freaksjan. That's magicmind.com/freaksjan. You guys got to check out Magic Mind Sleep Elixir. It's wonderful. It's got no melatonin. It's non-habit forming. It makes you fall asleep faster. You get that improved quality. I literally track my sleep with my Apple Watch, and I'm seeing how I am staying in the deep REM sleep a lot longer than normal. And again, I wake up feeling refreshed, and that is always really beneficial for me. You guys can check everything out in the links in the description. Again, it's magicmind.com/freaksjan. Check that out. Let's get into Xbox. So first off, we'll talk about the Xbox Direct. Squeaks, did you have a chance to watch this?
Not at all.
Okay. What? Okay. His one damn job was to watch it. No.
Right.
Okay, so let's go to the biggest announcement. They're bringing back Ninja Gaiden.
I did see that. Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 4, and then they just released the remake of Ninja Gaiden Black 2. I am not good enough at video games to be good at that game. Are you?
Oh man, yeah. I remember playing. I think it was number 3.
Yeah,
3 a lot. Yeah, I think you're really great. Yeah, fast-paced ninja games. Yeah, sweet.
I'm not good enough for it, man. Do you think this could be their version of Bloodborne? Like they need something from the FromSoft world?
Well, it wasn't never like a FromSoft style to me.
Yeah.
But it was tough at times. Do you think, do you bring that up because you think that maybe they'll go that route with this?
Well, I just think there's a hole that Xbox doesn't have.
Yeah.
Is that uber difficult game?
Yeah.
And PlayStation has a lot of them.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be challenging like it used to be, but I don't think it'll be in the form of like FromSoft. Yeah. But I think it'd be, I don't know. I think this, what we're going to get to next is a great addition for what we're about to talk about.
Yeah. Well, shortly. True. Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But, yeah, I'm just wondering. So the Hellblade Senua, which I think was kind of trying to fill that, hack and slash, dodge, parry, stuff like that. Fair enough. But it's clearly something that people hella want. People are clamoring for. Yeah. And so I think Ninja Gaiden would have been a good spot for them. I just don't know.
I think the character is missed a little bit. We saw, I think he was on a fighting game not a long time ago.
Soul Calibur, right?
Was it Soul Calibur?
I think so.
It's been too long. But like the characters, just I feel like it's been missed, and it's gonna be the hype is gonna be seeing him again on the TV.
That's fair. We got a new trailer for Doom: The Dark Ages. Now I don't think you're gonna buy that, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. As you said that, I was like, is there the third trailer just dropped for Doom 3 or whatever?
Trailer,
yeah, most definitely pre-ordered $200 edition already, so I'm ready for it.
Jesus Christ!
It was the statue that turned me on. The
furry
back.
God. That brings up a good question. GTA 6, they're proposing that it might be $100 for the game.
Oh, yeah.
Would you spend $100 for something like GTA 6? I'll clarify that.
That is a killer game, and we've seen massive inflation since, the last time game prices have gone up. But I think that, at what point is it taking advantage of the consumer? Did it cost them more to produce it? Yeah.
If it's fully complete and there's no DLC, I'm so tired of buying DLC stuff.
Yeah, no DLCs and no bugs right out the gate.
Yeah, and if it's like, There
Like
are
it's
so
been
few
beta
games
tested.
where I like even think like maybe,
Yeah.
and like that, and a new Elder Scrolls, and a new Halo maybe.
Yeah.
Like there's only a couple, right?
Can we start to see like tiered pricing where?
Well, we already see tier pricing that comes with extra stuff.
Yeah.
But are you saying tier pricing based off quality of game?
Yeah. So like a
I
game
like
like
that,
this
yeah.
would be $100, but another, I don't know.
Something
whatever.
that'll last you for so many years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like an
A smaller
untested franchise
game.
might not, because this one lasted over 10 years.
Yeah.
GTA
So
5.
crazy.
It's like
Yeah.
if you got a new
And I
Red
could
Dead
literally pick it up
Redemption,
and play again today. It's such a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
game, yeah.
a new Red Dead would be $100 game, right?
Yeah.
But-
and I could see myself like, I could
But
see
the
that.
next Resident Evil would be still $60 or $70.
Right, because it's untested.
Yeah.
I mean, it has the name, but it hasn't been successful
Yeah.
Now,
in the same way.
I think I'm kind of with John. They're just taking advantage of the consumer. We know everybody's been waiting for this game, and there's been memes, and it's just everywhere of the release of this thing. So I think a lot of it too, with the success from the fifth one, is that's what they're doing, is taking advantage a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you guys
Yeah.
prefer they followed like the Fortnite model or other ones where you pay? Well, no, Fortnite was free, but
Yeah.
other games where you pay like a monthly subscription versus the one-time fee, so that if
For
it's super
GTA, I
popular,
don't know.
No monthly subscription. I could see in-app purchases or in like multiplayer purchases, but I only care about the single player game. And I know the multiplayer makes a
Yeah.
lot of their money back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the single player game, I think, might alone be worth $100.
Yeah.
The GTA 5, I've played that single player thing 6 times over.
Wow.
Yeah, because these different endings and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's just such a fun world to play around with. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
What do you
Mm.
think,
I
Squeaks?
don't want this one to be
Yeah.
successful, and then that's the new standard. Everything comes out at $100.
If some other random game that doesn't have a big name behind or something like that tries to charge $100, well, they can just walk away. That's not
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
The other game that's coming out next month that's going to be pretty pricey that I'm already like, Scott already spent like $160 on. I'm like, dude, I'm going to wait for the cheaper version of it, but Civilization 7,
Oh yeah.
because it's like, I know that game's going to last 10 years.
yeah.
That's a little bit more valuable.
I guess it would have to. Do I see myself playing like say if it came with extra stuff, right? Like story and DLC and all that stuff already. Do I see myself playing it, and that would determine if I would spend $100 for it or not.
Yeah.
Because like realistically, I'm kind of like the campaign, and I don't visit a lot of DLCs. It's
Yeah.
very rare. But if it is providing all that stuff, and I do see myself playing for that long of a time, like you're saying, like people still play GTA 5, then I would have no problem spending the $100 for it.
What
Yeah.
if they released multiple versions? I'm sure other games have done this. I just don't buy a lot of games anymore. Where the super stock version, just the game is $60. But if you want to buy the kit that comes with the DLCs and maybe like stickers or something like that, that's going to be $100. And then you want one that's got all that stuff and it comes with like a rare Funko Pop or cup or something
Yeah.
like that, another themed item. That one's going to be $120. And those are special edition. Can't buy them at
Yeah.
the store. They're just
They basically
When you
have
buy the
like
game.
season pass, right? Like if you were to buy the season pass for the item as well,
Mm-hmm.
basically that was a real big craze for the Assassin's Creed and stuff like that came with those for a while there. Whereas like
Yeah.
a season pass basically came with the DLC.
I do think it'll hurt a little bit at the same time because I'm thinking of the normal consumer that's like, hey, maybe they don't have like the earnings to buy multiple games.
Yeah.
So this is like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a little bit just unfair.
Yeah.
Same
It's-
time.
and even as for kids, like if you're buying it for your kid or whatever,
yeah.
you know your kid might not touch the DLC, but maybe they want it because they see that it's cool or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
and
To
you know
me,
you're never going to
As long as the DLCs don't affect gameplay and it's just aesthetics,
Yeah.
then I don't care about having them. I hate when other people can pay to win and get better weapons and stuff like that just because they bought, a DLC. But as long as they're just visual, I get there's like a social aspect to where you're not the cool kid if you don't have the same skin as somebody
Yeah.
else. But at my age, that doesn't matter anymore.
And generally with DLCs, like the ones I care about the most are like expansions.
Yeah.
So when they're actually going to add more story at the end,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
definitely going to fork over something.
Oh,
for
that's
that.
true. Yeah, that kind of stuff should be included.
They made their money throughout all these years with online. So what's the point of raising the price? Like,
Yeah.
what are you afraid of?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's because the development time behind this one is so massive,
Mhm.
and it's like, why is it so massive? Is it because you guys are adding basically, San Andreas and New York together, Liberty City together?
mm,
That would be something big.
So would you prefer? They probably could have done this. Is keep it cheaper, $60 or $70, but it comes out as a much smaller game, and then 1 year from now they come out with the second game that is that expansion, or like you're
Yeah.
saying, I guess it would be
Like
more or
Final
less
less
Fantasy
interesting,
VII kind of doing something like that right now.
oh,
because
yeah,
they can
yeah.
split it up into
But
smaller.
the thing with Final
games.
Fantasy 7 though, it's a different story. I mean, it's addition, but you're
Yeah.
saying like maybe attaching a map to like with
Or
the
make it-
first
make
starting
it
off
like
map. You know?
two smaller games instead of one big game, but you pay $60 each time. So actually you're paying 120, but or you combine it all.
Yeah, it's all about, to me, what it comes down to is hours per dollar spent.
Yeah.
That's why a game that I spent a lot of money on might be World of Warcraft over the last 20 years, but that's 20 years of video game playing.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. So it's kind of tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about how much money, how valuable Minecraft has been for us.
Yeah.
We come back to Minecraft all the damn time.
Yeah.
Mm.
True.
Let's touch on the last things that Xbox announced. So they have South of Midnight. It's going to be coming out April 8th, which I really like the animation of that one, so I might check that one out. And lastly, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It's a new RPG coming out for the system on April 24th. Brand new. I haven't seen anything about this, but what I like is it's a classic turn-based RPG, which is something that I think Xbox is also missing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're trying to fill some of those gaps that maybe some of the fans that go to PlayStation are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want a PlayStation, you want to play Xbox games, it's not out of the realm anymore because they're starting to go cross-platform. And we got confirmation from Phil Spencer this week while he was on another podcast talking about how Xbox is excited to be bringing Xbox games to Nintendo Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's been kind of on the back burner with the other Switches, but obviously the first Switch is just too weak to handle anything. With this one, we already have heard leaks of the Halo Master Chief Collection and with Flight Simulator 24, both pretty heavy-duty games. Is there any particular game that you can see Xbox thriving on the Switch with?
I mean, their big seller is Halo, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get used to, like, I even have the Steam Deck. I don't use it very much.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get used to playing like on a handheld system.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a gateway to bridge the generations, honestly, because our generation is used to playing either you're sitting in front of your console or you're sitting at your computer, where kids these days are used to cell phones and apps. So a lot of mobile, a lot of young kids play mobile games. And so to be able to bridge the two, a new device like this would be great at bringing the younger generation, the mobile gaming, into console and PC gaming.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to have the same effect the other way. I doubt a lot of console and PC gamers are going to go into using, the Switch like a mobile system.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna think of something that's just not like the obvious like Gears of War and Halo.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of like Sea of Thieves, right? And to play that
Great
like
example.
handheld and take it everywhere you go. And now if you have those things linked, then that can maybe pull that person into where like, hey, I have a Switch 2 and I love Sea of Thieves, play it at home all the time, but now I'm going on a trip or something like that. I'm gonna take my character with me
Right.
and continue to play. I think that'll be the huge thing, right?
Yeah.
But then maybe do an Xbox old library, like Nintendo has their classics. So
That
what
would be
like
interesting.
yeah, what original Xbox games can we see?
Yeah. Banjo Kazooie, stuff like that.
Yeah, I always think of one which I don't know if anybody recalls, called Brute Force, and it used to be a lizard and a guy, two girls, whatever. But they just go around killing things, whatever.
Yeah.
So many years ago, gosh. But yeah, like bringing a classic catalog, and then maybe Nintendo charges a little bit more for it because they're doubling the amount of games that you're able to play.
And Xbox is also currently developing their own handheld system too, which has been also talked about.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So then why make a big deal about coming to the Switch? It just shows that Xbox is, they say they're not ditching the Xbox brand in the consoles, but man, you do not prove it in the pudding.
No. Yeah. You're turning it into a app service essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Game Pass, I think, is kind of becoming the biggest business model for them, and I don't think it's profitable yet.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, every time we always hear about it, every time a new game comes out, new Call of Duty comes out or something like that, and it's on the Game Pass, it always hear about like, oh, it's hugely big for this or whatever. But then it's like, okay, yeah, but next month everybody just spent $20 or less on a $60, $70 game and are done playing it. What happened?
Yeah, but if they're continuously spending the $20 over time,
True. It is the
other
gym
games,
membership
They don't care
thing.
about what you're playing. They just care as long as you have the membership. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wonder too, like I was predicting for years now on the podcast, especially that Microsoft and Sony would be veering away from consoles and start to develop more or less gaming PCs, because that's kind of what our consoles are now anyways.
Right.
But they would bridge that gap. But now it doesn't really seem like they're trying to do that anymore. I wonder if they're realizing that we don't need the computing power of a gaming PC, but like how, what was that?
Cloud gaming?
Cloud gaming, yeah. They're able to stream this stuff so effectively that really you have to find a different way to make the money, because the systems themselves aren't going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, cloud gaming is kind of the whole new, I mean, like you're playing the PlayStation, what's it called? Portal, right?
Yeah.
And that's running just fine, right?
Yeah. I think it's great. Yeah.
And then the Xbox, I could play the Xbox on the headset behind you, the VR headset. Does pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe because like effective internet, high speed internet is now kind of all across the US in most places anyway.
Most places, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting to hear that this is becoming a focus of Phil Spencer, and that it still just feels weird as a old school gamer and old school Xbox fanboy to not have like, all right, lean in on the damn Xbox itself, make the Xbox itself good. Because honestly, the controller's better in my opinion, the system's better, but it's not like PlayStation's handing you guys any of the Spider-Man games or anything like that.
No,
if they were doing that, then I'm like, okay, cool. Console War is over. I'll just get the Xbox because I prefer it anyways. And I don't have to worry about your guys' exclusives.
Yeah, and it could be ignorance, but there's not many exclusives that are really current with the Xbox, right? I think of Indiana Jones. I think of Starfield.
But that's coming out on PlayStation soon.
Is Starfield staying on Xbox only? Do you know?
It's on PC, so it's so hard to say it's even.
But it's like, damn, what happened to you guys? You know, like
I know.
Do you think they're trying to partner with Nintendo to kind of edge out Sony, and together they'll be a bigger powerhouse?
I don't know. They just don't feel like they're being aggressive enough for that. I haven't seen the actions out of them. They always seem to be, every time I hear out of Phil Spencer or like this one or any other buddy else with Xbox, it's always kumbaya.
Yeah.
And like, the next level of gaming is this. And it's like, I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
Because Sony's not playing by those rules.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. People like to be a part of something too. Like to feel like they're a part of something. So with the Xbox fanboys or PlayStation fanboys, it feels like, oh, I'm on this team, right?
Yeah.
So even if it like, you can say a war, but at the same time, it's still a hype behind it, right?
Yeah.
So like, as for you, an Xbox fan, like, why is it taking you so long to get the next Gears of War game or something? You know,
right?
Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
I got the PlayStation and I was playing all kinds of PlayStation exclusives way before I was playing anything on the Xbox with the new generation.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see. We'll see where it goes. I do look forward to having Xbox games on the Switch, though. That's not going to go away. Yeah. See, these is a great example of that. You know. We'll see how it goes.
Which is another one we all got to get back to together at some point.
John, there's so many games to play. So little time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The Blue Blur is back. Buy Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on digital and watch it at home now. Team Sonic reunites to face their most formidable foe yet, Shadow, a mysterious hedgehog with an unprecedented powers. Critics agree that Sonic 3 is bigger, bolder, and better than ever before. Get over 50 minutes of fun-filled featurettes, deleted scenes, and more when you buy Sonic the Hedgehog 3 at participating retailers. Rated PG from Paramount Pictures. Let's wrap things up by visiting Dynasty Warriors. You're playing with Dynasty Warriors over there, right?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't expecting
I know,
this.
you weren't expecting it.
Out there.
We're playing. Wait, we're shooting from
what I've been playing on my profile.
We're shooting from the hip over here, guys. We're just out of D&D session. How is Dynasty Warriors going?
I think it's great so far. There's been okay. So let me try to think of older ones and comparing to this one. But one thing I like about this one is that it kind of feels at times that you are in a war with hundreds of
that's what I love about
around
to
you.
me, I felt like the old ones were that way.
Yeah,
like you were just amazing at this.
Right. So there's been times in the game where you're like, okay, we're charging, and then everyone's behind you charging with you, and those moments feel really good. I don't remember too much of previous ones, and obviously I could be wrong, but like, yeah, you get a horse, so you're like, you could ride in a horse too, and then kind of like fast travel a little bit more to get to destinations. I'm sure that's happened to other ones, but again, I haven't played one in a long time. But the story is really good. You're like this wanderer, and you kind of want change and peace, so you think you're going to team up with this one army, but they get so big that now they're kind of being the bad guys. So now you join with this like renegade group to like bring peace everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's also like this magic element, like you yourself like can like sense things or whatever. So they're expanding a story of just normal realistic war. But I like it. Like it's just been a blast, really. Yeah.
What do the graphics look like? Have they kept up with the regulars? Because sometimes they feel like some of the Japanese games, I feel like just phone it in sometimes.
No, yeah, they're definitely enhanced and better, but they're nothing like I'm looking at God of War or something.
Yeah, not
they're still not there yet. Yeah. But I don't know if that's what they focus on.
That's what I think it is. Yeah, I don't think that's the big deal for them.
No,
anymore.
It's like a Nintendo, right? They're not too focused on the graphics, but the game itself. So, but yeah, I mean, the one unfortunate thing is that the languages that they have. This is obviously a story of China, but the languages are English and Japanese. So I kind of wish there was a Chinese language there. They do have subtitles in multiple other languages. The Japanese one is great, but it's hard sometimes to kind of like hear or read when you're in the battlefield and they're telling you to do stuff, because then you're like reading off to the side, but I'm focused in front of me. So, but why I also would like to rather play that way is because it just feels like
immersive.
I'm there. Yeah, it feels more immersive. And then like visuals on the mouth movements and stuff are better.
That's true. Did you end up watching Shogun?
No, I haven't finished it.
Okay.
I haven't finished it. I
Are
need
you
to
watching
though,
it with
I know.
the
No,
English
I
or
was just
the-
watching on my own. Oh, sorry,
Japanese?
with the wife. I was like, I don't have time for that. It's hard to like get together to watch a show together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried a little bit of both. And I think I do go back and forth. It's because sometimes on a show like that, am I eating at the same time? Then I'll look down. So that's the big one.
That's hard.
So, but the English voice acting in Dynasty Warriors is not. I just don't like it.
Okay.
Too different. Doesn't again feel as immersive.
Yeah.
So, but I just wish they had different more languages in there.
That'd be cool.
Just a little. That's just a preference for me, but yeah, it's really fun so far. Yeah.
And the combat's pretty fast paced.
Yeah, still fast paced. It's still like, hey, I want to focus on just killing everything, but no, like, hey, there's stuff going on way on the side of the map. Your teammates need you, and then you're like, oh, I lost this whole map that lost this level I spent 30 minutes on with 1,000 kills.
Yeah.
Because I didn't focus on one section of the map. It's like, dude, I'm having a blast just killing these little guys though. So, yeah, sometimes that's focused heavy on, so you don't get the excitement of just being overpowered sometimes because you're just.
But that is always a really big plus of Dynasty Warriors. Is just feeling like a god in amongst
the
mortals. Yeah. That is good stuff. What would you give it out of a 10?
I'm looking at probably like a 8.
8?
Yeah.
A weak 8 though, huh?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Standard 8.
Standard 8. Okay.
Because a lot of the reviews are like 9.5 out of 10. I think is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, it could use it a little bit more. And I'm always like really big on, hey, if the gameplay is always the same, if you add one element that like sometimes forces you to do something else, like, hey, let me shoot out of a turn or something, just whatever, that's a plus to me.
Breaks the loop.
But it's not really breaking the loop. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. 8. That's not bad at all. We're going to be wrapping up this episode with an interview with Alan Dunford talking about Horus from Hell. Let's go ahead and head to that. Today I'm joined once again by Alan Dunford. How you doing, Alan?
How many times have I been on here now?
I think this is 6, maybe 7.
Damn, that's like way too many.
Yes, it is.
But hey, Frank, I'm so happy to be back here, man. I just absolutely love the geek. Oh my gosh! Excuse me.
Yes.
I got something in my throat. I don't.
Oh, the
know.
newer mugs.
Oh my goodness! This cup is just so like lightweight yet durable, and the graphic it's just crazy. Anyway,
fun fact about that mug: it has Hawkman on there, and they still haven't gotten me in trouble for it. So
yay! Fun fact about the old mug: I broke it, and I was really sad after I did. Yeah, I was upsetty spaghetti after I broke it.
Oh man, that's right. Means you got to get another one now.
Yeah, I know.
Today we're going to be talking about your next installment of Horus and Hell. You also have, of course, you have Pocus Hocus. You've got Grandma Chainsaw. I always
Grandma Chainsaw. Yes, yeah.
Jesus
I guess
Christ.
just think about it the way you think about Pocus Hocus or Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. It's Chainsaw. No, it's Grandma Chainsaw.
It's so many one shots and stuff like that. But this one here, it seems to be one of your more accessible comic books. Can you kind of run down what Horus and Hell is all about?
Yeah, so Horus and Hell is actually a spin-off series of Pocus Hocus. But the key difference here, or I guess the big thing about it is you don't have to read Pocus Hocus to understand what's going on in Horus and Hell, but just for like a brief overview, Horus and Hell follows the story of a demonic bunny from hell named Horus, who God, how do I word this? He was plucked from hell during the middle of a battle, and then he pledged his allegiance to Pocus because he didn't understand what was actually happening. He thought it was his eternal dark reward for doing, his years of servitude for the Dark Lord and all this stuff. And then it turns to find out he just got plucked by a drunk magician up here to our world, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and that again, it just follows this wacky story about one night Pocus tries to recreate what he did to Horus to get him up here, and it's Horus's journey now getting back from hell back to Earth.
Yeah. When you're trying to do a third installment, how closely are you trying to tie it in with Pocus at this point, or are you trying to just let them diverge as much as possible?
I think it's one of those, like, if you read Pocus, right? Like, that's awesome. Enjoy it, have fun with it, but it's not necessary. So again, we always wanted Horus to be its own standalone series.
Yeah. And then you talk about this being, of course, like the Saturday morning cartoon. What about that are you trying to implement into this book? Obviously the art style itself, but are you also trying to bring in some of the wackier humor in this one?
Yeah, well, like we really try hard to be unhinged. And just like when you pick it up, you're like, I don't know what's going to happen in this book. And I mean that all for the best, right? Like I want you to pick this thing up, read it, and be like, this was absolutely crazy. I can't wait to read it again. So it's little stuff like that is really what we try to go for.
Now, by certain numbers, this is your most popular book, but do you feel like it's your most popular book for the readers itself, for like your longtime fans?
That's a good question, Frank.
I tried.
That is a very good question. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to say that this book is very popular for the fans just because it could potentially be, I guess, viewed as like the most accessible.
That's what I'm getting at. I think that's what it is. I think this is your best introduction to your world. And then, like this is The Hobbit, and then we have Lord of the Rings over here with Pocus.
Right. Kind of, yeah, because like that's kind of how I've always viewed it. Right. I've always thought that this book was, obviously I love the thing to death, but it's the least amount of effort to get into it because the world itself isn't as dense as some of the other stuff that we do. And I don't know if I just need to like take a chapter from it because I talked to you about this before. It's just funny how things happen because like, Pocus Hocus and Grandma Chainsaw, even like, Will, my co-writer, and I, we sat down and we mapped out this whole world for what we were going to do and where these characters were going and what their motivations were and blah, blah, blah. And then we do Horus and Hell. And it's just like, just have fun, and then the book just does great.
Yeah. Well, with working with Will all this time, I haven't talked to Will in a bit, but with working with Will this whole time, is it rewarding to you guys to have a comic book that's off to the side that you can just have fun with? And does that kind of help you break the grind of working on something that's a little bit more focused?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, man, it's one of those things where we actually get to spend time and just kind of like, how crazy can we make this thing? And like, yeah, of course we have a beginning, middle, and end for where we're going with Horus. Like that's always been the play, right? Because we never wanted to make a book that we had zero idea where we were going. Because originally when we wrote Horus, because our backers were asking for it. But you know how that stuff goes sometimes, right? Like, they're like, hey, we'd love to see a Horus spinoff. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, is anyone actually going to buy it? Right. And then we had it set up to where if no one cared, we could end Horus at issue 2. But then again, like it's shown, it's done so well for us, and the fan response has been like crazy, dude. So we just love it, and we're keeping going. We're happy because we love being in this world.
If I remember correctly. Now, of course, correct me, but Horus was like one of the tier rewards for a Pocus campaign, correct?
Yes, it was years and years ago.
Would you consider doing the opposite way now to introduce people who are coming in for Horus on something like, Pocus?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So we actually kind of ended up doing something like that anyway, right? Okay. With the new series that we have on there, Mostly Dead.
That's right. Yeah, it's at the bottom.
Yep. So we're trying to do new stuff like that, and really try to see like what Ash Cans could do to try to bring hype around a series. And plus, if you already have completed pages, it's a good way for us to be able to kind of give like something a little bit exclusive while also working that much harder to, I guess, raise funds and stuff. Because as you know, this stuff ain't cheap.
No. Yeah. Especially, specifically the way you do it with higher quality, with really great artists. And of course, with you and Will working together on this. Speaking of the artists, we have Kit returning for this cover. What is it like working with an artist so long like this? What kind of benefits to this long relationship are you seeing?
Dude, the benefits are like absolutely enormous, right? Because once you work with people for so long and in like a capacity like this, it's amazing, man. because Kit is such a professional in everything that he does that like it especially if it's like working with Brian. I think I've talked to you about this before. It legitimately, man, it just becomes second nature. Like we all are on the same page. We give everyone freedom to do stuff, like even with Brian, and you kind of like know what everyone's expecting, and they try to deliver the best product, not because, their name's on it, but they try to deliver the best product just because they genuinely want to.
Yeah.
Yep.
With this one, do you have any other artists working on different covers? Usually, like I think you have Brian working on one of the covers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, so I always like to try to keep like the same wheelhouse of people. I know that may sound boring or whatever to some people, but I just love working with these guys. But yeah, like we got a Ruben Mosho cover, which I've worked with Ruben before on the Herald. And yeah, it's just there. I don't know. Like I try to like reach out to get like new like featured artists and stuff like that. But I also just like working with a lot of the same people too, just because a lot of these people that I've worked with, they've been with me since the beginning. Right. And it's just one of my ways to like just kind of say thank you for sticking with me through this stuff for so long.
The Herald is so good. I forgot. Why did I forget that one? It's been a bit since we've gotten any updates on the Herald, right?
Yeah. So well, no, you're good. No, Herald 2's been completed for a while. Okay. I'll send you a copy of it. But yeah, Herald 2's Herald 2's been done for a minute now. What we decided to do is actually try to do it to where we're actually going to release all the chapters of the Herald at once.
Oh my God, yes.
Just because we think that story is going to be better told that way.
Okay.
Yeah, we think having it in a long form way is going to be way better for us. And it's just going to be able to deliver the story the way that we want to, because I don't want to say it gets slow, but we really wanted to set it up like a good solid Western where you have that time to breathe, and we didn't want to go balls to the wall the whole time with it.
Right.
So
which
like
Horus is definitely balls to the wall the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. So Horus can be exhausting because it just doesn't quit, right?
Yeah.
So like, we finished chapter 2 of the Herald and we're like, man, this is really good. But like chapter 2 is literally just a whole fight scene, like the whole chapter. And it's cool how we did it, and it's a lot of fun, but it's like, will the backer be entertained without immediately having something to follow it? Right.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we really sat down to try to make that decision early on what we were going to do. But yeah, I'll definitely send you chapter 2 so you go and have that and check it out.
Oh, very much looking forward to that. And that does kind of bring up like something like Pocus, for example, that kind of every issue sets something up, knocks something down. Where, so are you thinking with something like Horus, or I'm sorry, with Herald, doing more of a graphic novel aspect of it, where, because I'm starting to see the rise of graphic novels more and more nowadays.
Oh yeah, that's so the next campaign we do for the Herald will be the complete work.
Complete. Okay.
Like it'll be all 5 chapters together.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, and our plan is to have it like we did last time. Issue 1 was already completed before we even started the campaign, and that's our plan again this time.
Oh, perfect.
So we want to have the graphic novel completely finished before, just because that's the way Ruben likes to work, and I'm cool with that because like I told you, he draws it first, then we write it.
I was going to bring that up. That's so unique, but it really pays off when you see it on page. It's amazing.
Yeah.
With Horus again, this one you don't want to actually have. I wouldn't want it to be a full book because you do need it to be kind of like Punch. It's a Saturday morning cartoon. You're almost wanting to read it with a bowl of cereal. It's really fun like that. How much longer are you going to be putting out these Horus comics? Because we have 3. Like with Grandma Chainsaw, we didn't go as long as we did with the others. Is that what we're going to do with this one?
No. So Horus, obviously it's the same breath with Pocus. We're going to go until people stop reading, right?
Okay.
But the big thing is, and I guess I'm going to preface it like, and I'm sure we'll get into the some of the stuff that's on the campaign here in a second. But with Horus, we're going for the Horus and Hell series for 4 issues. So at the end of the 4th issue, we're going to get our trade. And we're talking about doing a hardback for it and a good volume 1. So then the next series after this, though, is going to be Horus in Heaven. So how we have the
Already
series.
in.
Yeah. So yeah, man, how this series ends, or how this chapter ends, sets up some events that Heaven is going to need some help.
Heaven is the depiction of angels. If I remember from the first Horus, it's like a different version of slapstick. They're almost like Ren and Stimpy wild. It's a lot of fun in its own way.
Yeah. So, and again, we're always trying to turn it on its head, right? So yeah, Horus in Heaven is going to be it's going to be weird, and I think people are really going to like it, and I'm so excited.
Oh, that's gonna be a blast. Let's talk about this campaign for a bit. You've been doing campaigns for a long time now. This is one of the shorter.
It's been
runs.
84 years.
Yeah, it feels like it. But this is one of your 21-day campaigns. So if you guys are interested in this, it's not something you can really wait around on. You need to punch it now. Get into the description, start clicking around in the links. Can you talk about some of the rewards you added this time that are new for your campaign career?
Okay, so we did this on Horus 1, and it was such a huge reception. We brought it back. We had a collector's box for Horus 1. And then we went ahead and brought it back for Horus 2, but it's a different box this time. But the biggest thing that we took a huge risk on, and it paid off just perfectly. Frank, I mean, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
We have toys on this one.
Yeah. And they're cute little toys that would look really great. Extra guys' monitors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are they interchangeable, or you change weapons on? I was watching a little video on it.
Yeah, everything's interchangeable because of how they're built. Okay. So the heads are, and we did that for shipping reasons. We took a page from I don't know if you guys have ever seen Sideshow Collectibles or messed with any of their statues or anything. When you actually get their statues, all the statues are separated into pieces, and the limbs are magnetic. So we did that with the heads for Horus. So the heads are magnetic. So you can take them off to different Horus figures. And this is also kind of us hinting at we're going to be doing another run of Horus figures. Cool. Yeah.
It'll have more connectivity with the ones you guys already get here.
Yes.
Perfect. When you're branching out into a new medium like action figures, how do you go about that? Do you look at people who make action figures beforehand, or you start to learn how to do it yourself? Because you seem like a guy, let's just say it. You seem like a guy who's going to start looking at YouTube videos on how to make your own action figures. Come on.
Yeah, I wish, man. So that was the big thing, right? It's like, how do we do this? And is this a good idea, or is this just a stupid idea, right? Mm-hmm. Are we biting off more than what we can chew with this? Yeah. So I brought the idea up for the figures. Where I actually got the idea was have you seen the Disney Doorables?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where I saw it, and it was one of those we talked about it and was like, man, like I think Horus would look really cool like this. Yeah. But then it's like you look into it, and it's one of the reasons why people have asked us for plushies for a long time now.
Yeah,
we haven't done plushies because plushies are so expensive. Like I would love to do a Horus plushie, but it's like minimum like 500 is what you have to order. And it's like, I mean, if I could get everyone's commitment to, a 500 backer campaign, it's like, okay, cool. We'll definitely do plushies now. Right. But because we don't have that, of course we can't exactly do that. So yeah, that was again, like I said, it was a risk. So what we went ahead and just did, we just said, screw it, let's try it. And we did it. We found some people that were just as passionate as we were. And we got it going. And that has been such an explosion of people backing this thing and adding the stuff on.
Yeah.
We sold so many.
Yeah. And with that too, you get all the covers, if I'm not mistaken, with that version of that tier, right?
Mm. Yeah, so we also did the Horus figures as an add-on, just because we never want to. I never want to try to strong arm anybody into right. You have to buy the $200 tier if you want this. But no, like I said, man, it was one of those we have them as a bundle on some of the bigger tiers. Mm-hmm. But if you just want to get cover A, and you just only want like Horus holding a carrot. Boom. There you go. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. That's perfect.
Yep.
And then let's talk about, you're going to be throwing in 8 pages of Mostly Dead. This is a brand new book of yours. Can you tell us a little bit about this? I'll say art style for those listening right now, very Invader Zim, it feels like to me.
Yeah, so Mostly Dead is actually a book that Kit Wallace and I, the guy that draws Horus, it's a book that he and I created together. And we've actually been sitting on Mostly Dead for probably about a year now. We have the first 8 pages done when we were just kind of trying to figure out when the right time was to, show the world and stuff. And I encourage you to go to the campaign and check it out because we have a very cool trailer for Mostly Dead that's on there. It actually, I think the trailer might be better than the stupid book. I look at the trailer and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Did I write something like this? The trailer's sick, man. Oh, it turned out so good.
I can't wait for you guys to check this out. Obviously, we're a big fan of everything you guys do over there with Top Hat Studios. Horus is amazing. All the other books are amazing. What can we start to expect now? I mean, assuming everybody right now, at this point, is already clicking around in the links to get their copy of this. What can we expect next out of Top Hat Studio?
Okay, so obviously we'll be working on Pocus 7, and then Horus 4. Then obviously getting everything ready for Horus in Hell or for Horus in Heaven. And we've actually already started on a horror novel called Beneath the Lighthouse. So that one novel is going. Yeah, so graphic novel. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, you don't have time for it. I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't have time.
I know. Yeah, no, God, no. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. We started on a graphic novel for us. It's called Beneath the Lighthouse. It's going to be a one shot. I'm super stoked for that, man. It's we got a lot of really cool stuff coming with that. There's just so much. We're still obviously working on Deacon Dan's Famous Chili. We're gonna do that after we finish Pocus. So,
and then as for publishers, who are you publishing this book with? Horus and Hell.
Okay, yeah, we're actually with Bad Bug Media. That is where Pocus Hocus originally started.
Yeah.
We deviated a little bit, and then we came back.
Checking things out.
Yeah, and then it's been absolutely blissful ever since. So we're on.
I'm such a fan of Bad Bug, guys. Make sure you guys follow them on social media as well. I mean, banger after banger out of that publisher. So we have a lot of them
they do. They not because I'm there, but they genuinely do fantastic work.
They really do. Good people. Okay, guys. Again, everything's in the description. Make sure you guys follow up on this. Again, it's one of the shorter campaigns, and I don't mean like it's crazy short, but it's only 15 days left as we're recording. So make sure you get in on that. And we'll be sharing clips and stuff like that all throughout the next couple of weeks so you guys can experience Horus for yourself. Alan, once again, thank you very much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, love to be here, and I can't wait to come back on.
Oh, you definitely will be. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
All right, see ya.
All right, that was Alan. Make sure you guys head to the link in the description and follow up on that. Also, check out our sponsors for this episode, both Magic Mind and Sonic 3 from Paramount. Before we head out, guys, what are your recommendations for the week? You got John?
I've actually, based on your guys' recommendation from last week, I've been rewatching Daredevil.
There we go.
I burned through season 1. It is really good. I don't know why. I think I must have seen all of season 1 originally back in 2015. Can you believe it's 10 years old now?
God.
But yeah, so I'm like a few episodes into season 2. Really good show. I'm also watching Silo, For All Mankind, and Severance. Severances.
Severances.
I finally back. I thank God I saw it when I watched it all. I binged it all like a month before the new season. But so many people were waiting 3 years. So I see a lot of like TikToks and social media about people waiting for it to come back. But such a good show. So
yeah, that's incredible. What about you, Squeaks?
Mine is we talked about a little bit Nosferatu. Yeah. Right now you can buy it through any whatever streaming service that you use. But there's a lot of imagery that I really like that I don't recall seeing anywhere else before. And what I really like about it is that they give you short snippet scenes that are very quick, but they progress the story. So they don't dwell on something that takes too long. One, for example, is how like I can't think of the character's name, but he escaped Dracula's castle essentially.
Okay.
And how that happened, they're going back and forth with him being stuck there or whatever. But once it panners back to him like waking up, and he was basically left with the wolves, and he jumped out of water and cut, and then out of the castle into a river and cut next scene. But it's like it does a lot of that where it's like, man, you're really progressing the story without wasting my time. Like it's not dwelled on a lot. So yeah, I think it's awesome. Yeah.
My recommendation for the week is Balatro. It is now on mobile.
Oh yeah.
And when I might have recommended this before. Who knows? Anyways, when it was announced as like one of the Game of the Year nominees, everybody was like, "What the hell? Who is this?
Yeah.
What is this game?" Guys, it is incredibly good. And you would think it's just a poker game. It's not. Roguelike. It changes every time you play it. I'm a fan of trying to get straights, like making my straights stronger and stronger and stronger, and making like you can keep changing however you want, and it's really fun. It's an easy game to kind of jump into when you're like in between tasks, like sometimes I'll do it while I'm watching TV and it's a show or whatever. I'll play a quick thing on my phone because I have it on my phone and on the PC. Balatro, guys, it's a blast. It looks so simple and it gets more complicated and fun every time you play it. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys, that is it for us this week, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.